Welcome viewers, and welcome Mr. Barry Peatling to the Barry Peatling Sports Show.
And welcome to you, Colin Sutcliffe, and all my viewers around the world. Interstate, it's a very, very cold day in Chelsea, and it's raining. Well, it's been raining all night, but we'll get by.
It's probably about 16 degrees.
At the most.
Middle of summer.
I reckon 14.
14 degrees, middle of summer.
Yeah.
Wind is going, there's about 50k winds.
Freezing cold.
Freezing cold.
World's gone mad.
It's gone crackers.
It is.
Well, the only thing that's right in the world is the cricket, Barry.
First of all, judge, aren't we?
Now, we'll just give the viewers an update. West Australia won 5-zip, as the headline suggests, and they won pretty comfortably the last game.
2 days to spare.
2 days to spare. We'll get into our predictions a little bit later, but the question that people have SMS'd in is England worse than rock bottom?
They are. A bit what you said last week, they're digging up to...
So they've hit the rock bottom.
And they're digging up the grave at all.
They started to dig. That's how bad they are.
Couldn't get any lower, England. You run your race. But
go home.
Go home and have a good cry and come back next 4 years' time and you might do something better.
So their one-day squad will be completely different.
Well, who cares?
Well, we'll have predictions on the one-day squad and the one-day series. 7 games coming up later on this week.
7 one-day games?
7 one-day starting.
That'll be annihilation too.
Starting on Friday, I think.
I reckon it'll be 7-zip.
Oh, there we go. Prediction. We'll have one-day games before next Monday. So we'll see what's going on there. So, rock bottom. Barry, is this one of the best Australian sides you've seen? How good is this Australian side?
I reckon, Colin Sutcliffe, I reckon this is just about nearly the best. I mean, we didn't see 9 and 48, but Don Bradman, and the Lily Thompson area and the Chapels, and I reckon it's probably equal to that sort of era.
They're calling the side the Unchangeables.
Well, because they all... And you tell you something about Michael Clarke. I said to you once before, a few weeks ago, about Michael Clarke. I didn't like him as a captain, but it's a bit too girly, but I think he's got this side very well. There's only 1 or 2 passengers, and they're it's very minor on this side. The side is gelled together, and he's got them. Well, he's got the 3 of the best fast bowlers in the world, and he's got them all rotating at the right time.
I guess the other time we saw such a side was in 2006-07 when they beat England 5-zip, but they had all the superstars in the team. That's
when the Haydens and the Gilchrist and Warren and who was the fast bowler?
McGrath.
Oh, Glenn McGrath, yeah. Now this side is they're pretty full on between a lot of them. They get on very well, and it does help because a few egos over the last 30 years in cricket test side gets the better of some of the players. But now they're all spot on. Michael Clarke, he's done a good job, mate.
So apart from Michael Clarke, is it Inverarity? Is he spun his Inverarity magic?
Inverarity, he's there. I just said before he coming out, I didn't realise he's still hanging around, but he wouldn't have much to say. No one taking notice of him because him and Mickey Duff and whatever, they'd stuff the whole Australian side up.
Mickey up
doing their homework and got to come home and don't come home too late because he's treating them like little boys. And boys, when he was in Inverarity, keep away. Just go home and have a lay down, retire over in West Indies somewhere.
Darren Lehman.
Darren Lehman is a man, mate.
He's responsible.
He's the number one motivator, and he gets all the players. He gets them in the rooms. He's got them all gel together. That's what you need. When you've got all the best players in your country, you've got to have them. Can't be too many egos. No egos now.
Yeah, 5-zip. It's only been done.
There were 3 days, 4 days, and 3.5 days.
And they said this last game would have been the hardest for Australia because Harris has fallen apart and
he stood up again. And look, the only patch we've got in the side is Shane Watson.
Maybe George Bailey.
Well, he made a 49 the second innings, and but I think that Shane Watson, if he get himself, we've been saying it for the last 6 years, that if he gets himself right, he's a bit of a hypochondriac. He's always getting injured.
Yeah, he is.
On his day, he's a well-beater.
Well-beater. Now, you made a bit of an error of judgment, some people are saying, and I did as well because we agreed on it. We said it was about 3.5 days.
I said it was about 3.5 days.
I agree with you, I concur.
Well, that's good, but it was
way out.
Half a day.
Half a day, so 3 days. We thought it might still be going right now and be wrapping up, that sort of thing. We'll be doing the celebrations, calling the last wicket.
Yeah, probably would have been watching it now.
Yeah.
But now they just destroyed. They just fell apart again. The comms
and that guy Carberry, he's
no good.
He can get starts. This is the funny thing.
No,
he can get you 30s and 40s.
No, he's no good. He's just a batter. He's a very ordinary fieldsman too. But they've got a lot of worries about the next. Where are they playing? Where's England playing? Who gives a stuff where they're playing?
I think they're playing India.
Oh, India. Then they won the world, didn't you?
Yeah, so they're in trouble.
We'll finish up number 2 after. We'll fix up South Africa too.
So that'd be interesting. So we're half a day out now. Any highlights, Barry? Give us the highlights package.
Well, I've got a few. As a matter of fact, I've got quite a few highlights, but I'll go through them reasonably quick. But one of the main highlights is Brad Haddin. I mean, that fella. I give him a flick. I think you remember I said he shouldn't be playing 12 months ago. He's come back and he's just got a new lease of life. And he's 493 runs, Colin, at 61. I mean, how? And he got the runs, but every time he'd come in, they were about 4 for 80 something. He'd come in.
So
him and Mitchell, a few 4 or 5 big partnerships. Brad Haddin.
Him and Steve Smith as well, yeah.
21 catches too. No drop catches either. Of course, Chris Rogers, he was boring up till about 4 weeks ago. But
Get rid of him.
Shouldn't be playing. He's on a boycott.
But
507 runs.
Most runs are
at 58.
Most runs in the 10-game series.
And 3 test series. Three test hundreds.
3 test hundreds. And some say he was unlucky last test to miss out on the
man of the match.
But,
well, I'll say something about the man of the match in a minute too, but there's because Mitchell Johnson, 37 wickets at 14.
Yeah, he got man of the series.
I know. Well, I was going to tell you later about that. But and of course, this is the first time. I don't think too many people know about this, Colin. I've got this fixed up, organised.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, not too many sides have won 5-zip, but this is the first side that's got whole 50 wickets over 5 tests.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, they're all bowled out.
No bowled out. Never,
not out.
No
declaration.
If
you want to write that down in a little book out there, and I think it's pretty sort of it was in one of those.
Were you talking about 100 wickets? Because it's 20 wickets a game.
Well,
5 tests, 100 wickets.
Well, 10 wickets each game.
No, 20 wickets each game.
Now that'll be 100. That's right.
100.
Yeah.
100.
Well, there you go.
That's 100.
Yeah, 100 wickets.
Wow.
The whole 100 wickets. No NOs and.
Most explosive player.
Mitchell Johnson, without any shadow of doubt. He's. Well, I'll say now. I reckon it could have been nearly a toss-up between him and Brad Haddin, but I think he got the right man. Got it, Mitchell Johnson. He terrified the Poms. And he slowed them up of the other bowlers when Ryan Harris come on and Peter Sill come on. They sort of cleaned him up, but he's a freak and can make runs too.
He bowled out of the skin this game. He came on. He was scaring players.
It wasn't scary. He's terrifying.
Terrifying players. What about that Boyd Rankin? He came on. He must not needs a hug. You know, sort of thing. Yeah, that's what he's looking for.
He's about 10 foot tall too.
Yeah, but he was as soft as butter.
Weak as water. And I tell you, the last 3 captains, or last 2 captains to win the 5 test series were Warwick Armstrong
in the 20s
and Ricky Ponting.
607.
Well, and of course Michael Clark's in that bracket.
I think this is the most surprising series because a lot of people were saying England 5-zip. Right.
Everyone was predicting that.
So
I wasn't.
We weren't.
I predicted 5-zilch before the test series started. I don't know because Ian Botham come out and made the big statement because everyone's followed him.
He was right.
Yeah, wrong way around.
Now I saw an interesting statistic to do with the English 5 games in England. And only Ian Bell, he averaged like 68, right? And all the other English batsmen in the English series averaged under 40.
Well, there you go.
Which was interesting. So they just scraped in, a bit lucky up there in England. I think the tide was turning.
Oh, look, we should have won at least 2 of them tests. We got beaten 3-zip, but we've won every test by a country mile. Just a wipeout every time, and especially the last one. I mean, you think that I told you about Nathan Lyon. He'd spin him out, and
yeah,
he did.
He's been excellent.
But anyway, we'll talk more about my little comments about Nathan Lyon.
Tell us about Nathan Lyon a little bit more.
Well, here's another fellow I give a bit of a carp on too a few weeks ago. I thought he was sort of actually before the test series started, but he stepped up and I said last week I think he'd be the key in the last test at Sydney. He did spin him out and he was terrifying up to one of the when one of that Ben Stokes overs he took 20 off, but that's here there and everywhere. But he's going to. He's actually 26, isn't he? They get better on their 30s.
Got a good future.
He'll be the number one spinner for. He'll be the next best off spinner I've had since I've been watching cricket, I reckon.
Let's talk about the man of the series a little bit.
Well, it was very close, Kyle. But I've just come to the conclusion that Mitchell Johnson, he's decided the series from the start. He got into the English batsmen and they got into their heads and jumped them back full and sideways and didn't want to play the balls, and he just beat Brad Haddin. Because Brad Haddin, I mean, this has got to be one of the best wicket-keeping batsman efforts I've ever seen in my life, isn't it?
Yep, the series.
493 runs at 61.
Yeah, he's catching. He's
never dropped the catch, and he's a very good motivator. And what more can he do for wicket-keeper? Who I was saying 12 months ago should be playing. So all the ones I've had a go at, they've all stepped up.
So you sort of take the credit.
Well, I think I might too.
Now, what's the future for Australia and England?
Well, the future's pretty good for Australia, but England, I think they've got to go back and have a good cry and tell all their problems to their coaches and selectors, and they'll probably have to. I wouldn't think there'd be too many players. But who gives a stuff about England? We're worried about ourselves, but I think England's going to be in. Well, they were number one side before they come out there.
They haven't really lost anyone.
Who they beat?
Everyone goes home halfway during the season.
No, England's. We might be putting ourselves down a bit. We might be very, very good. Might be better than everybody thinks that, and that's why they've. We have annihilated England, who were the top-rated Test side in the world, to playing like little girls.
Unbelievable. Alright, so that's the Test cricket wrapped up for another season. We'll be looking forward to there's a few one-dayers we might give a few comments on. And
I might have a couple of other Richmond stories coming up too. I've got regurgitated.
Into the football season. As we're into
the football should be. What's the date today? They start back in training in February for Chelsea, I think. I might try and get some information on Russell the Snake. If you're watching the Snake, give me a ring and tell me what's going on. I'll let the Chelsea supporters know, because everybody tunes in this, Russell, including you.
Give them a heads up. Alright, so let's move on to your Cheerios.
Yeah, I've got some special Cheerios today.
Cheerios, here we go.
Yeah, special Cheerios to PH's son, Wesley.
Yep.
Wesley and his wife Jenny and Amy, who's I think I mentioned last year, she's a karate, what do you call it, karate stuff? And
instructor.
And she's only 12.
Oh.
And she's going for another. She's got a black belt already. She's going for another one of the colours they are. I don't know what colour, probably blue belt. But the Wes, who's coming with his father to the reunion in February, and his wife Jenny, and Amy. So cheerio to you, and hope everything's going right. Looking forward to seeing you, Wes, when you come down in February. And of course there's Annie and Carla and all the Filipino people up there. They got another big wedding coming up next Sunday.
Of course.
I was supposed to go.
Oh. Boycott.
Hey?
You're boycotting it?
But it's going to be about 200 people there.
Oh, right, of course.
So, cheerio to Lloyd and Carla.
I can play this video at the wedding.
And Ariane, and they'll be, and Jimmy, because Jimmy's going to do a lot of cooking for the wedding, and they're all getting excited up there. The wedding's a big thing up there. Yeah, they are. And that's just about all for today, Colin Suptooth.
Right, so there's all your Cheerios and your goodbyes, and we'll look forward to the one day.
Well, of course, PH and Sandy and Carlos too, unless you got to mention them,
Yeah, almost. And then we got the updates in the one day matches, and it'll be a totally different English team.
When does the one day start?
Soon, this week, end of this week.
This weekend, is it?
End of Friday, Saturday,
Sunday. Well, I might give a mention next Monday,
Yeah, give a few highlights. Alright then.
So that's all for me today.
And that's all for me. Goodbye.
Bye bye.